these designs you see here, these graphics you see here, I basically was able to design them using Claude Design. I'm not a motion designer, so I didn't touch any form of effects. I didn't do any of these. I was just able to describe what I wanted in Claude Design, and it actually designed it for me. Now, this is also another interesting one. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know I do have this AI readiness audit, which is basically a form where people go in, answer a couple of questions, and then they get a 30-day roadmap. Now, I was able to use Claude Design to actually animate that page from just using a screenshot. And how this becomes useful later is the fact that I can actually put this video on my website so that it's as a product walkthrough demo, so that people know that after watching this video, they'll know exactly where to click, where to put in their names and everything, how to answer the questions. And this is very useful for product explainers. So I was able to generate this whole animation in less than a minute, and all I had to do was just take a screenshot and give a prompt, and Claude Design was able to just go ahead, take the screenshot and animate the page for me. And there's even a more interesting and mind-blowing use case that I personally use all the time. If you've been watching my videos for a while, I've been using Claude Design to edit my videos, provide me with motion graphics. And so this, for instance, you see here is basically Claude Design taking my transcripts and then basically just running with it, animating every timestamp in the transcript. Once this is done, all I have to do is grab the MP4 file and then add it to my videos. And just like that, I'm able to cut down a lot of time that I would otherwise use in editing. I didn't have to write a single line of code. I didn't have to go online for different types of graphics. All the graphics you see here, all the graphics, all the motions you see here was generated by Claude Design. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did this video. So stay with me to the end. I noticed that a lot of you who watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. I do share lots of tutorials regarding AI tools. So if you're interested in content like that, you want to stay on top of AI, then hit the subscribe button, like my videos. You subscribing to my channel is one of the best ways and surprisingly free ways you can actually help this channel grow so that I can reach more people as well. Let's get right into it. First things first, let's talk about where Claude Design lives, okay? So two things. If you have Claude installed on your desktop, then you can basically open your Claude application on your desktop, and then you can click on design and it will basically open the Claude Design application for you. Alternatively, if you're more comfortable with using Claude in the browser, then you can just type claude.ai/design and then you'll be able to have access to Claude Design. So now let's try a few things here, okay? Okay, so in here, I'm just going to change the design system. I'm going to go for something a lot more organic here. So I'm just clicking on animations and I'm just typing this simple prompt in here. Once you click on animation, you see that it'll start with the word animate, okay? So I'm typing this simple prompt and it's basically something related to my business. So this prompt can be what you really want to animate. So I'm going to hit enter. In terms of the model, I'm just choosing Opus 5, but you can choose any model at all. I'm going to hit enter and you'd see that it sometimes would come back with a handful of questions that I would need to answer as well. Okay, so it's asking me 6 questions, okay? Who is watching this? Is it like existing clients? Is it other coaches? So I'm just gonna select these 3 because my channel is focused on business owners, coaches, consultants, all that. So I'm just gonna select these ones. Now it's asking the 7 things. Do you have your own list? I'm just gonna say just write a strong default set for me here. I'm just saying this because for the purposes of this tutorial, which one lines does nobody do? I'd say, yeah, I'll just go with defaults. It's asking me what should the tone be. I'm just going to say wide and pointed. It's asking me what should the length be. I'm just going to say 20 seconds. It's asking me the aspect ratio. I'm just going to say 16:9 because I'm going to be posting this on YouTube. Now, if you're posting this on TikTok or another platform, if it's a short or a reel, then you can basically go with 9:11, 9:16, but I'm just doing 16:9. I'm going to click on send answers and you'd see that it will take a bit, about let's say 2 minutes. It will come back, and by doing this alone, it will come back with the motion graphic or the animator test for me. Okay, so this is ready now. You can see you can make tweaks here. Maybe you don't want the captions to show. You can decide not to let it show. If you don't want the motion editor to show, you can also turn it off. But these are tweaks you can make, and if you want to make changes, you can also use text to make changes. So I want to stop here and say what's actually happening right now because it explains everything else in this video. So this is not one of those tools where you type words and a video appears, okay? Like if you're using tools like, let's say, Veo or Kling AI or any of those AI tools, you type something and then you see a video appear. This is slightly different. Here, Claude is actually writing actual code, okay? The structure, the styling, the movement, everything you see here, Claude is writing the code behind the scenes and it's playing it back to you live. And that sounds very technical, especially if you are non-technical, but you really don't care about the code that is written behind the scenes. And this should not really matter to you at all, except for one reason, because it's the reason you can actually do this. Now, because there's code being written behind the scenes, you can actually come in here and let's say if you want to make a change, okay? So you can actually come in here and change something. So maybe if you want to make a change to the invoice, out payments confirmed in writing, you can basically change it to something like, or maybe you want to add an additional step, you can just say something like maybe add additional step, and you just say that maybe the additional step is, let's say, schedule a discovery call, right, as the first step. Okay, so you can just come in here because code is being written behind the scenes. You can come in here and just click on this and then you send, and you realize that things are going to be changing behind the scenes. If you want to change things like the colors, right, you can say maybe highlight the third step. Okay, so you can see that discovery call on calendar before anything else. So it's updated the first step. You can say things like highlight the third step. You can say change the font color to red, slow the middle section down. You can say things like this. Whatever change you make would actually be affected in the front end by Claude, right? So if I update this right now, you see that the change is going to take effect. Okay, so you can see that this has been highlighted. Okay, the third step has been highlighted. It changed the text to red just like we asked it to. So the whole thing is just basically based on plain English language. So now I'm going to give you another example. So on the screen you see here, I have data set on how small business owners spend so much time on admin work. Now what I want to do is I'm going to put this data set inside Claude Design, and I'm going to ask Claude Design to give me an animated graphic. So this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to come in here. You can actually use this link, okay? You can actually use this link and ask Claude Design to animate it, or you can actually upload the file, right? So let me just open another instance of Claude Design. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make sure that I'm connected to my Google Drive folder. So I have my Google Drive folder connected here. I'm going to select animation here and I'm going to say animate the graph data in the admin shop tab. Okay, let's see what it comes back with. Okay, so you can see that this has been animated for us. So if I start this animation right now, you can see that it's actually based on the spreadsheet I actually provided it. And the spreadsheet, mind you, I didn't have to download the spreadsheet. It was already on my Google Drive, but because I have Google Drive connected to my Claude Design, I was able to basically extract the data and also animate it for me. So that's pretty neat, okay? I'm going to give it one more example and then I can move on to the next use case here. So in this particular example, I provided the data. Now I want Claude Design to actually do the research, okay? So I'm going to say animate a comparison of how small business owners actually spend their time on admin and finance versus sales and business development. I'm telling it to research the numbers yourself from name surveys published in the last 18 months. And I wanted to show me the source and the dates on the screen as well. I've given it some more instructions. I'm saying that this has to be 30 seconds and I want it to be 16:9 in terms of the format. I'm going to open a new Claude Design document. I'm going to open a new chat so that we can see the difference. This time I'm selecting modernist and the prompt is already here. The difference between this and the first one is that with the first one, I actually provided it with the data set to work with. I just want to demonstrate and show you that even if you don't have the data set and you want Claude Design to actually do the research and everything for you, you can actually also go ahead and do it for you. But as usual, this is AI. So just make sure that you verify the data, you verify the information before you actually go ahead and use the data, especially if you're using it for client presentations and all that. Your reputation is on the line. Okay, so we can see that this is complete. Again, with this one, like I mentioned, I didn't provide it with the data. I just asked it to do the research for me and it went ahead and did the research. You can see that you can actually decide to tweak this based on the colors you have here. So you can decide to change the colors. It started off with red and black. You can decide to keep it black on black, blue on black, green on black. So up until now, I've shown you the basics, like the easiest of things you can actually sort of animate, or the type of graphics you can actually get using Claude Design. Now I want to take you a level up. I want to get a lot more complex. I want us to do a few more complex use cases. So let me show you exactly what I mean by that. A lot of you know that I run these AI readiness audits. If you're a business owner, you want to know where you can actually get started with AI on your business, you can actually come in here and then fill in the questions. It was going to ask you a few things, your name. It's about 20 questions. It's not just for business owners, it's also for professionals. So if you want to know where to get started with AI, your business owner, your professional, you can basically come in here, this AI tool com/audit, and you can actually fill in the form. Okay. The form is quite long, but then it's a good way. It gives you like a 30-day roadmap on how you can actually get started with AI. So let's start here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot. Let me just minimize this a little bit so that we can actually get a full screenshot of the page. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this page here. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to give Claude Design the screenshots. And this is where I say this is very useful, especially if you are doing product demos, okay? And you want to actually animate product demos. So I'm going to ask Claude Design to actually animate the screenshots. It should show, like, animate the screenshots showing how people would actually fill this form. So again, I'm going to come back into Claude Design and I'm going to open a new chat again. Since the form is purple black, I'm going to change it. Maybe, you know what, I'm just going to keep this and let's see what we get. I'm going to select animate again and I'm going to drag the exact screenshot I took earlier. I'm going to drag it in here. And then I'm going to give Claude Design this exact prompt. I'm just saying, attach as a screenshot of my AI readiness audit form. And I've talked about the things you should do in terms of how you should animate it, the pacing and all that. These are things you can define yourself, just like defining these just for the purposes of this tutorial. But if you have your own SOPs or you have your own way of animating stuff, you can actually like define those ones as well. Okay, so you can see that this has been developed. If I put this in full screen for you to see, you can see that it's actually animating the full file for us, which is amazing. Okay, all I had to do was provide it with a screenshot and it's just gone ahead to like animate this whole page for me. So this is something that you can add to your product demos, your sign up pages, especially if you have very complex things to do, right? And you're not sure of how to do it. Claude Design can basically animate everything for you and make it look very professional as well. So this is great. Now I want to show you the last use case, and I've sort of touched on this exact use case in my previous videos on how I use Claude to edit my videos. So you may have seen that already, but then I'm going to touch on that as well. So when I record my YouTube videos and exporting the files, I try to get the SRT file. So the SRT file is a file that you can actually export your captions as text, or you can export your captions as SRT. So I export my captions as SRT because I want to get the timestamps as well. So what I do is once I get a SRT file, all I do is I come into Claude Design and then I attach the SRT file. And I'm going to say illustrate the matching timestamps, add in graphics and B-rolls where necessary. And then I'm going to hit enter and then we can see the design that comes up out of this next. In fact, if you watch my previous video, my Claude co-work tutorial, I did that with the beginning, the same script I'm actually using right now. So you'd see the output you get. And this, you can see, saves me so many hours. I don't have to go look for stock footage because it does everything for me. And that's amazing. Okay, so it came back with a few questions. It's saying how much of I'm just going to say just the opening hook. I don't want to spend 4 minutes doing this. I'm just going to say the opening hook. I'm just going to say a standalone animated explainer. I could upload B-rolls. I don't want to do that. And then I'm going to come in here. It's asking me, what do I want? Yeah, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to send the answers, okay? And then based on the responses I provided to Claude Design, it's going to come back with an animated graphic based on the transcripts, based on the timestamp and everything. Okay, so the design is back now. I'm putting this in full screen. I'm going to start playing it so you can see it's animating this based on the transcript, based on every word in the transcript. And it's actually giving me the captions as well. and it's provided me all these boxes. All these things you see here are not things I developed myself, because of course I'm not a motion designer. It saved me a lot of time, and you can see it's brought in everything. Now this looks purple. You saw us use the other design systems. We use modernist, we use classic. I'm sure you are thinking, okay, how do I fit this for my brand? You can actually design your own design system so that the colors are always going to be consistent. The colors are always going to match your own brand colors. I'm going to create a full course on Claude Design, and I'm going to show you exactly how you can define all these things so that you don't end up in a situation whereby you are not consistent in terms of your brand colors. One thing I want to mention is that Claude Design isn't available on every plan. If you're on the free plan of the Claude application in general or the Claude platform, yes, you have access to so many things about Claude Design. So Claude Design is basically only available on the Pro and Max versions, okay? So with a $23 subscription, you're going to get access to Claude Design, Claude Code, Claude Code. Our focus is on Claude Design, so that's what we are going to stick with today. I also want to mention that Claude Design shares limits with your Claude, your general Claude application. And so if you burn this week's worth of credits using Claude Design, it means you're also not going to have access to Claude Cowork, Claude Code, and all the other functionalities that come with this amazing platform. Okay, so that's the most I'm going to talk about in this tutorial. I've shared a lot of use cases, so let me know in the comment section below if you're a motion designer, how are you incorporating Claude Design in your work? If you're a business owner, you're a content creator, let me also know how you're actually using Claude Design to edit your videos. I've done lots of tutorials on this channel on how I use Claude Design and Claude together to edit my videos, so I recommend that you go watch those tutorials as well. But if you're not subscribed to my channel, do well to subscribe, share this video. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next one.